You ever felt like you just wanted to get away from like everyone and like all of their problems and all of their issues? You ever felt like, hey, I got my own problems. Like I can't take on the problems of other people, right? It's complicated dealing with people because people are complicated. And when people show up in our lives with their problems, it feels like our lives get complicated too. And so it's oftentimes easier for us to isolate ourselves and like lock people out and put up walls around our lives so that when we're dealing with our thing, we can just deal with that and focus in on our problems and they can just deal with their stuff out there. But in fact, that's deceiving. You see, when we isolate ourselves and we don't allow people to come into our lives and speak into our lives, we miss out on meaningful connections. And meaningful connections, man, they unlock a sense of purpose and a sense of comfort and a sense of belonging in us like isolation can never do. You and I, we need wisdom outside of ourselves if we are going to have a full life. You and I need people to speak into our lives. Here's what Proverbs 18 says. It says, whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. You see, when we put walls up in our lives and we block people out, when we make that choice, we are making the choice to only rely on our own insight, to only rely on our own experience. But when we make the choice to put our walls down and allow people in and allow people to speak wisdom into our lives and have meaningful connections with us, what we're doing is we're allowing more wisdom. And God works in that way, and he shows up in our lives in different ways through meaningful connections. Is it complicated? Absolutely. Is it difficult at times? For sure. Is it worth it? Absolutely yes. You see, when we're in isolation, the odds of us making bad choices increases greatly. Studies show over and over again, addiction grows in isolation. It shows over and over again that our self-worth, that what we believe about what God says about us, it tanks in isolation. You see, all of that stuff requires isolation to grip a hold of you. But when we decide to take our walls and put them down, when we decide to take our masks off, the chances of us making good choices increases. It's scary at times. I get that. But let me tell you something. The biggest growth that can happen in your life and in my life comes through connections with other people. And not just anybody, but people that are going to encourage us to move towards God, people that will encourage us to make the right decisions, people are going to challenge us when they think that we're off course. So if you are out there right now and you are dealing with isolation and you're trying to think about how can I actually take a first step in making a connection with someone, start with your face. Start with a smile. You'd be surprised how people's mood changes when they see someone with a smile. Maybe you're out there and you're thinking, man, I haven't really connected with someone in a long time. Start with a text. Start with a phone call. Start with a quick conversation. Let people know what you're going through. Take your mask off. Keep it real for a second. When we do these things, we choose to get out of isolation and we choose to get around other people so they can encourage us, so they can give us wisdom, and so they can motivate us. That's when God shows up in new ways. That's when we grow. So my challenge for you today, make the choice to put your wall down. Make the choice to get out of isolation and make the choice to connect with someone in a meaningful way. You will not regret it.